Redditors who married someone with an identical twin sibling. Why are you glad you're not with the other twin instead?
Experience 1. Story time. I am an identical twin, we still look so much alike, and one night I spent the night at her house. She and I fell asleep in the same bed because we were up late talking, etc. Her husband slept on the couch. The next morning my twin went to take a shower and her husband laid down on the bed with me, thinking it was her of course. I jokingly said,
Hey sailor, looking for a little variety?
He shot off the bed and said,
If I was looking for variety, do you think I'd choose you?
Experience 2. I didn't marry him, but I dated an identical twin. His twin's girlfriend and I used to joke around that she got the evil twin. He was just a selfish, messed up person. One of the benefits of breaking up with my boyfriend was no longer having his twin in my life. Plus, his ex-girlfriend and I are still great friends. Experience 3. I work with a guy who married an identical triplet. One of the triplets also works with us. I asked him one day if it was weird working with someone who looked just like his wife. He got a little pissed and basically said they are all very different people and he doesn't see much of his wife in her. Experience 4. My dad's an identical twin. People have a hard time distinguishing them, but to my mom and me, they look like two completely different people because of the way they walk or talk, etc. My mom only fell in love with this one person. When you love someone, it's actually pretty easy to tell identical twins apart. Experience 5. Not me, but my mom is an identical twin, and my dad and uncle were friends before marrying twins. My dad met my mom through my uncle dating her twin. Someone once asked my uncle, you met both twins when they were single, why'd you choose that twin? And he got as far as she's a bit more reserved. I can tell she thinks before she speaks before looking at both twins and realizing there's no way to continue that sentence, or really answer the question at all, without getting in some kind of trouble, for what it's worth. My mom definitely was the more talkative when they were younger and she thinks it's a hilarious story. Then, at my parents' wedding, my aunt and uncle left the reception dinner early because my aunt was due with their child any day and was exhausted. My uncle jokingly said to my dad, lucky you, you're marrying the fun twin, before again realizing the stupidity of what he was saying. Lucky for him again. My aunt now thinks this is hilarious. Not so much at the moment. My dad, meanwhile, has never said anything on this topic except that he loves my mom more than anything and retells my uncle's dumb comments. Experience 6. I used to date an identical twin. Although I found his brother objectively handsome, I wasn't attracted to him at all. It was cool to experience how attraction goes beyond just the looks directly. Experience 7. Greetings, I am married to a formerly conjoined identical twin who is now missing an arm. When it comes to cuddling in bed, I have a preference for spooning on the left side. Experience 8. I dated a set of twins, but 15 years apart. I went to a small-town college and met this girl, Lily, who was from a larger metro city 200 miles or so away. We ended up dating for just over a year. Long enough to meet her family over the holidays. She had an identical twin sister, Anna, who I got along with fine. Things didn't work out and we parted ways. No hard feelings. No regrets. 15 years later, I was working/living in her hometown and ran into Anna at a steakhouse. We were both on dates, but also not dating the person we were on those dates with. I knew it was Anna immediately and she remembered me. We said our hellos and went back to our dates. Throughout dinner, we kept catching each other's glances and eventually met up outside the restrooms. We exchanged numbers, a time before texting, and met up the next day for coffee. We ended up dating for 3 years. Even though they were mirror images of each other, there was no mistake who was who. They dressed differently, spoke differently, and had these it factors the other didn't. They each had very unique personalities. I didn't marry either one of them, but the experience of dating twins was quite fun. Experience 9. We're not married but have known each other since we were 12 and have been together for 3.5 years. His twin is a massive dickhead who tried to break us up multiple times, was madly in love with me in his own words, and after 2 years of pursuing me declared I was a terrible person and put him through hell. Because I didn't break up with his twin brother to date him. Experience 10. I dated a twin for 2 years. I could not hold a one-on-one conversation with the other twin to save my life. Edit for a fun story. I dated an identical twin for 2 years. Let's call my boyfriend Alex and his brother Ben. Before we started dating, Alex and Ben dated a pair of identical twin girls, let's call them Alia and Brittany. After 7 years of dating, Alex and Alia broke up, but Ben and Brittany kept dating and recently got married. So now Alia is Alex's sister-in-law. Long story short, you can figure out why Alex is my ex-boyfriend. Experience 11. I'm the twin in our relationship, but my sister is super square, and my husband is very much not. I can't think of two people less compatible, honestly. I'm sure he's physically attracted to her though. Who could blame him? LOL, just kidding. Experience 12. My brother-in-law can be really cold and heartless and prioritizes his own comfort over everything else. My husband does not have these traits. That said, my brother-in-law has become a lot softer since getting married himself and learning the art of compromise. But still, he and I used to clash a lot. Experience 13. My husband and his twin brother look very different to me, although they are identical and get mistaken for one another all the time. They couldn't be more different in terms of personality. They have different values and life goals, hobbies. One is introverted and the other is extroverted. If they were two people who didn't look alike, I would automatically not be attracted to my brother-in-law simply because we are not remotely compatible personality-wise. Also, they have very different styles. I do not find the way my husband's twin dresses/grooms his hair attractive. It's so wild to me when people can't tell them apart because they couldn't be more different in my eyes. Experience 14. Well, my wife and I have been together for 30 years. She has a mirror twin. Even now, if you don't know them well or interact frequently, you will not be able to tell them apart. They are complete opposites. I married the extrovert. She has never met a stranger, will try anything at least once, and can find a positive aspect in almost everything she encounters. They are also best friends. My wife drags her sister along all the time. Once she's out, she enjoys our activities. I love my sister-in-law, all three of them, but so glad I married the one like me. The mirror part even goes for looks. When I see my wife's reflection, I see my sister-in-law. It's weird sometimes. Also, attitude and personality are everything. I have never been attracted to her twin. Experience 15. Doesn't involve me directly, but here's my favorite twin story. Back in college, I was good friends with identical twin guys. One night one of them was a bit inebriated at the bar making out with a similarly inebriated girl. He excused himself to go to the bathroom, and shortly thereafter his really inebriated brother showed up with another group. 2 seconds later the girl walks up to him, and despite him wearing a completely different outfit, says "There you are" and starts passionately kissing him. He was completely stunned but was like okay and went with it. His brother came out of the bathroom, saw what was going on, and looked at us laughing, so he just shrugged his shoulders and got another beer. That girl is now his sister-in-law. Experience 16. My fiancé is an identical twin. I can tell them apart after being around them both so often, but I can honestly say I would never date his twin. He's a good guy and I like him as a friend, but their personalities are so vastly different. They like a lot of the same things, but my fiancé has ideals that match mine much more than his brother's. Plus, I have plenty of romantic chemistry with my fiancé and none with his twin. Same face, same personality. Experience 17. My wife is also an identical twin. I would not in 1,000 years mix her up with her twin. Their voices sound different for starters. They have completely different facial expressions, even resting face. Their characters are quite different. Actually, my wife's twin and I don't really get each other and barely talk. Also, my wife is somewhat bigger, you know what, and also is all around a little kovya, which makes her much hotter to me. Experience 18. I mean, I'm divorced from him now, but while I now think my ex sucks, I always thought his identical twin brother sucked. The twin was engaged to someone else who had an 18-month commitment overseas, so they were going to get married when she got back. Upon hearing that his twin brother had gotten engaged to me, and we'd be getting married in the fall, he kept saying, "I can't believe you're getting married before me." A few days later, he sent out an email announcing he was getting married in August. Didn't say anything about the bride. We were like, did your fiancé cancel her plans to go overseas? Nope, he had suddenly proposed to someone else he'd previously dated, and they were now getting married before us. He didn't even tell his first fiancé he was breaking off the engagement. She found out when he sent out the group email announcing his engagement. It's really weird for me to look at the 4 children he had with fiancé number 2 and know they owe their existence to him wanting to beat his brother and knee down the aisle. Experience 19. My father-in-law is long past now, but he married and divorced an identical twin. He regretted the twin he chose. The take her used to tell was that when he first saw the twins, he was very infatuated and wanted to ask one of them out on a date, but didn't know which. So, he decided to be completely vain instead of getting to know them better. One of the twins had broken her nose at a young age and had a small bump on the bridge of her nose while the other did not. He chose the one without the broken nose and regretted it immensely. His great lesson to his sons: looks isn't everything.
We hope you enjoyed listening to today's stories. If you want to see more stories, check out these videos or check the links in the description for more videos. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And ring that notification bell.